Captain Taewon Park stared at the holographic display, his weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow. The remnants of Outpost Sigma drifted silently through space, twisted metal and frozen bodies. This was the third colony destroyed in as many months. "Play the final transmission again," he ordered. His communications officer, Lieutenant Ji-woo Kim, nodded grimly. The recording flickered to life, showing the panicked face of Outpost Commander Hyun Lee. "They came without warning, massive ships, unlike anything we've seen. Our defenses, worthless. They're not interested in communication. Their static consumed the rest." "Analysis complete, sir," reported Science Officer Do Yun Kang. "The attack pattern matches the previous incidents. Precision strikes targeting power cores, communication arrays, and defense systems. Whoever these aliens are, they're methodical." K1's jaw tightened. "And Earth Command still refuses to acknowledge this as an act of war. They're calling it unfortunate incidents of unknown origin," Ji-woo replied, disgust evident in her voice. "The diplomatic corps wants more evidence before confronting the Stellar Confederation." "More evidence?" Taewon gestured to the destruction before them. 3,000 civilians dead. How much more evidence do they need? The bridge fell silent as the enormity of their situation settled over them. Humanity had spent centuries expanding into the stars, establishing peaceful relations with the dozen spacefaring civilizations that formed the Stellar Confederation. Earth's policy had always been one of diplomacy first, but diplomacy wouldn't bring back the dead. "Set course for Earth," Taewon finally said. "If Command won't listen to our transmissions, perhaps they'll listen when we bring the evidence to their doorstep." As the starship Dauntless prepared to jump, none of its crew realized they were being watched, observed by vessels hidden in the shadow of a nearby moon. Their alien occupants calculating the next phase of their extermination plan. The United Earth Defense Council chamber buzzed with heated debate. Admiral Minji Choi stood before the semicircular table, her decorated uniform a stark contrast to the civilian attire of the council members. "The evidence is conclusive," she stated, gesturing to the holographic displays showing the destroyed colonies. "Captain Park's findings confirm what my intelligence division has suspected for months. The Arcani Dominion is systematically eliminating our outer colonies." Councillor Sun Woo Yoon shook his head. "The Arcani have been peaceful trading partners for over 50 years. Why would they suddenly turn hostile?" "Resources," Minji replied. "Our geological surveys discovered rare element deposits in the Cygnus sector last year, elements the Arcani desperately need for their quantum technology. So they're wiping out entire colonies instead of negotiating," asked Councillor Eunha Bae skeptically. "The Arcani don't negotiate when they believe they have superior force," Minji explained. "Their cultural history is built on conquest. They respect only strength." Captain Taewon Park stepped forward. "With all due respect, while we debate, more colonies will fall. The Dauntless recorded Arcani energy signatures at all 3 attack sites. They're not even trying to hide their involvement anymore." The council chamber doors slid open, and a slender man in a simple grey suit entered. The room immediately fell silent. "Director Junrai Ru," announced the council chair. "The intelligence division has something to add." Junho nodded, his expression grave. "We've intercepted Arcani military communications. They're planning a coordinated strike against our remaining outer colonies within the week. They believe humans are too fractured, too diplomatic to mount an effective response." He activated a holographic display showing Arcani fleet movements. "They've miscalculated. They believe we lack the will to fight. They don't understand that humans have always been reluctant warriors, until we have no choice. Admiral Minji stepped forward. I've prepared a response plan. Operation Thunderbolt. A simultaneous strike against key Arcani military installations. Not their civilian populations. We're better than that, but we must demonstrate that attacking Earth's colonies carries severe consequences. The council members exchanged troubled glances. This would mean war, Councillor Yoon said quietly. No, Taewon replied. They already declared war when they murdered our people. We're just finally acknowledging it. After hours of debate, the council voted. Operation Thunderbolt was approved. As the meeting adjourned, Minji approached Taewon. The Dauntless will lead the third battle group. We strike in 48 hours. Taewon nodded, his expression solemn. They wiped out our colonies. Now they'll learn why that was their greatest mistake. The Earth fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. 37 warships arranged in a three-dimensional spearhead. At its tip flew the Dauntless, its weapon systems fully charged. On the bridge, Captain Taewon Park surveyed the Arcani military outpost Krell 9. The massive structure orbited a barren moon, its defensive arrays already powering up in response to the human fleet's arrival. Their scrambling fighters, reported Lieutenant Jiwoo. Defensive shields at maximum. They didn't expect us to strike first, Taewon observed. Tactical advantage is ours. All ships execute attack pattern Epsilon. The Earth fleet split into 3 coordinated groups, each targeting different sections of the outpost. The Arcani responded with surprising speed, their crystalline ships emerging from hidden hangars. Incoming transmission, Jiwoo announced. The main view screen displayed an Arcani commander, his iridescent scales reflecting the light of his command center. Human vessels, this is an unprovoked act of aggression. Withdraw immediately or face annihilation. Admiral Minji Choi stepped forward, her voice cold. This is Admiral Choi of the United Earth Defense Force. Your attacks on our colonies have not gone unnoticed. This is not aggression. This is justice. The Arcani commander's facial tentacles writhed in what humans had learned was an expression of surprise. You dare to accuse the Dominion? Your species is even more primitive than we thought. Transmission terminated from their end, Jiwoo reported. They're powering up their main weapon array, warned Science Officer Do-hyun. Taewon nodded grimly. All ships, engage as planned. Remember your targets. Military installations only. No civilian casualties. The space around Krell 9 erupted in a symphony of destruction as Earth vessels unleashed their firepower. The Arcani responded in kind, their energy weapons slicing through the void. 3 Earthships were lost in the initial exchange, but the human fleet pressed forward with a determination that seemed to surprise the Arcani defenders. The battle raged for hours, neither side willing to retreat. In the command center of the Arcani outpost, Supreme Commander Krell watched with growing concern as the humans systematically disabled his defensive systems. How are they coordinating so effectively? He demanded. Their tactics are unexpected. His second-in-command hesitated. The humans appear to be employing strategies we've never observed in their training exercises. They're adapting to our countermeasures faster than our predictive algorithms can process. Krell's facial tentacles contracted in the Arcani equivalent of a frown. The Dominion Council assured me humans were predictable, diplomatic to a fault. These humans fight like cornered predators. A massive explosion rocked the command center as the humans breached the main reactor shielding. Evacuation protocols initiated, announced the automated system. Reactor containment failing. As Krell rushed to the escape pods with his command staff, he sent an emergency transmission to the Dominion homeworld. The humans have responded with unexpected force. Reconsider the extermination plan. They are more dangerous than we anticipated. Aboard the Dauntless. Taewon watched as the Arcani outpost's main reactor went critical, the resulting explosion temporarily outshining the nearby star. Mission accomplished, he reported to Admiral Minji. Krell 9 is neutralized. Minimal civilian casualties confirmed. Minji nodded, her expression grim but satisfied. Repeat this message to all Earth forces. Operation Thunderbolt is proceeding as planned. The Arcani thought us weak. Today, they learn otherwise. The war escalated rapidly over the following months. The Arcani, initially confident in their technological superiority, found themselves facing an enemy unlike any they had encountered in their 1,000-year history of conquest. In the Strategic Command Center beneath Seoul, Admiral Minji Choi studied the holographic war map with her senior staff. Earth forces were represented by blue markers, Arcani in red. The map showed a clear pattern. The red was steadily retreating. The 7th Fleet reports the Arcani have abandoned the Procyon system entirely, reported General Jinwoo Seo. That's the 3rd system they've withdrawn from this month. They're consolidating their forces, Minji observed, preparing for a counter-offensive. Intelligence Director Junho entered the room, looking exhausted but triumphant. We've decrypted their latest communications. The Arcani High Command is in this array. They can't understand why their standard conquest protocol is failing. He activated a recording. The translation software converted the Arcani language to Korean. ... Humans employ unpredictable tactics. They strike military targets while sparing civilians. Behavior that contradicts all known conquest patterns. Their technology is inferior, yet they adapt precisely, Junho agreed. The Arcani have conquered 12 species before encountering humans. Each of those species either surrendered after initial defeats or responded with such blind rage that they became predictable. Humans do neither. Minji pointed to a section of the map showing Arcani territory. Their homeworld, Arcania Prime, remains heavily defended, but we've identified something potentially more valuable. Their ancestral temple world, Krell Vash. The hologram zoomed in on a small planet orbiting a red dwarf star. According to our intelligence, Junho explained, Krell Vash holds their species' historical records, religious artifacts, and genetic repository. It's the cultural heart of their civilization. And it's lightly defended, Minji added, because no species has ever penetrated this far into their territory before. Taewon understood immediately. You're suggesting we capture Krell Vash rather than destroy it. Exactly, Minji confirmed. The Arcani wiped out our colonies without mercy. We could respond in kind. But that's not who we are. Instead, we'll show them that we could destroy their heritage, but choose not to. That's a message even the Arcani will understand. The plan was set in motion. A stealth fleet led by the Dauntless would penetrate Arcani space and secure Krell Vash, while the main Earth forces continued their advance on other fronts. 2 weeks later, the Dauntless emerged from hyperspace near Krell Vash, accompanied by 5 stealth cruisers. The planet's defenses were formidable, but as intelligence had predicted, not overwhelming. They never expected an enemy to reach this far, Taewon observed as his fleet easily neutralized the orbital defenses. Within hours, Earth forces had secured the planet's surface. The Arcani defenders, primarily priests and scholars rather than warriors, surrendered quickly. High Priest Krellmore, keeper of the ancestral archives, approached the human commanders with dignity, despite his fear. You have conquered our sacred world. Will you now destroy our history, as we destroyed your colonies? Taewon's response surprised the Arcani leader. No, we're not here to erase your past. We're here to secure your future and ours. The Arcani Dominion will receive our terms for peace within the hour. As news of Krelvash's capture spread throughout Arcani space, the unthinkable happened. For the first time in their history, the Arcani Dominion requested peace negotiations. The peace conference took place on neutral ground, a space station orbiting Jupiter, constructed specifically for this historic meeting. Representatives from Earth and the Arcani Dominion gathered in the central chamber, the atmosphere tense with centuries of mutual suspicion. Admiral Minji Choi led the Earth delegation, with Captain Taewon Park and Intelligence Director Junho Ryu at her side. Across the table sat Supreme Overlord Krelvax of the Arcani, flanked by his advisors. "We are prepared to discuss terms," Krelvax began, his translator converting his complex vocalizations to human language. "The Dominion acknowledges the unexpected outcome of this conflict." Minji nodded. "Before we begin, I believe understanding is necessary. Why did you attack our colonies without provocation?" The Arcani leader's facial tentacles rippled in what humans now recognized as discomfort. "It was not without provocation, in our view. Your species expanded rapidly, establishing colonies near resource-rich systems the Dominion had marked for future harvest. Our historical protocols dictated a swift elimination of potential competitors. You could have negotiated," Taewon pointed out. "Negotiation is not our traditional approach to expansion," Krelvax admitted. "For 12,000 cycles, the Dominion has encountered only two types of species, those who submit and those who fight, predictably until defeated. Humans fit neither pattern." Director Junho leaned forward. "You've studied our history now. You should understand that humans have fought countless wars among ourselves. We've had millennia to perfect the art of conflict and to learn its cost." "Yes," Krelvax acknowledged. "This explains much. Your species fights with the wisdom of veterans rather than the simplicity of novices. You strike with precision rather than rage. You show mercy when you could destroy." He gestured to a holographic display showing Krelvash. "You held our ancestral world hostage, yet you harmed neither its people nor its treasures. This restraint is unknown in our experience of conquest." Minji activated her own display, showing the rebuilt human colonies alongside Arcani settlements. "We propose a different path forward. Not conquest, not submission, but coexistence, shared development of resources, cultural exchange, mutual defense." The Arcani delegation conferred among themselves, their translator temporarily disabled. When Krelvax spoke again, his tone had changed. "The Dominion has existed for 50,000 cycles. In all that time, we have known only expansion through strength. Your species has taught us something unexpected, that there is strength in restraint, power in mercy." He extended a ceremonial blade, the traditional Arcani symbol of surrender, but then did something unprecedented. He broke the blade in half, offering one piece to Admiral Minji. "Not surrender," he explained. "Partnership. The Dominion accepts your terms. With one addition. We request that human military advisors be assigned to our forces, to teach us this different way of thinking." 1 year later, Captain Taewon Park stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed joint Earth-Arcani space station orbiting the rebuilt outpost Sigma. Below, human and Arcani engineers worked side by side, constructing habitats designed to accommodate both species. Admiral Minji joined him, gazing out at the stars. "The Stellar Confederation has officially recognized our alliance with the Arcani. Several other species have expressed interest in similar arrangements." Taewon nodded. "They wiped out our colonies, thinking us weak. Instead, they discovered our greatest strength." "Which is?" Minji asked. though she already knew the answer. That humans fight hardest, not for conquest, but for peace. Tae-won replied, "We've spent our history learning the cost of war, so we value peace more than those who've never known true defeat." As they watched, an Arcani ship and a human vessel performed a synchronized patrol maneuver. Former enemies, now guardians of a shared future among the stars.